or if it is going to be banned away, as we've entered into picks and bans for Game 1 between Immortals and Apex. Braum and Karma quickly banned away from Apex. Some huge performances from Xpecial on that Braum. And Apex don't even try to dilly-dally with that Vladimir Rek'Sai ban. No chance they're going to let Immortals play around that. And Azir banned away from Pobelter. You just saw him doing some jaw stretches as he was getting ready.
So what they're expecting here is Apex to last ban Ryze, Immortals first pick Rek'Sai, and take that away. That's what I'm thinking. And now they've left both up, so you have to make the decision.
Bit of a trade-off, but enable Reignover. You can see Huni doesn't even hesitate. Immortals so far have picked their bans and picks within 3 or 4 seconds for each of them.
And now you could pick the Ryze if you're Apex, but that does leave you open to counterpicking, and it's not something that Ray likes to play as much. He's more of the brawler, fighter, jump in, dive. I would actually describe him as having more of a diver type mentality.
Yeah.
Like if Fi was a top laner, it'd probably be his top laner.
Punch first, ask questions while punching. It does seem like a Ray-style champion. The J4. Does this hurt? Ah! Stabbing it.
It hurts when you do that. It's
yes.
Like yeah. Stop doing that.
But in answer, it looks like Nami going to be locked in for Xpecial. Shrimp giving us the old Gragas hover right now. And yeah, he decides to lock that in. So a bit of disengage from Apex so far.
Yeah, and it looks as though Saint and the team of Apex are drafting more counter at the moment. Because there was a pinch on supports, take your support early. They took jungle, so you take your jungle and hide and get counter picks. It's one of Keane's specialties. And also put Ray in a matchup that's favorable. But I do think that Immortals take the Ryze here because they go off of tier lists and power picks most of the time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these would be their lock-ins here. I think that it makes the most sense to go with Soraka Ryze.
Yeah, some very strong
From
CC.
the outside, of course.
Yeah.
It always makes more sense on the inside.
We'll see what they decide to go for as Reignover giving us the old Blitzcrank cover. Don't think we're going to see that locked in as we get down to the last few seconds. Timer's actually running out, but last second swap over to the Banana Man. Banana Woman.
Thank you.
Soraka locked in along with Ryze for Immortal. So as you said, running down the tier list.
Yeah, the Soraka locker right there for them. And then Ryze for Pobelter. Like, this guy's been having such great carry performances. Why not secure him the unbanned S-tier mid laner? Because the Rumble ban came through for Apex, didn't want to deal with it in the top lane, and this may be why. The Ryze Cassiopeia matchup is a matchup that goes way far back where it was considered a counter matchup at one point, where Cassiopeia the mid-range and Ryze the mid-range, and the fact that they both do so much damage, it became this gigantic brawl between the two. And that's what it's going to be for Keane here. I'm a little surprised that that wasn't banned out instead of the Nidalee, because it's just been such a potent mid lane pick for Keane, and it's kind of spread across the league.
Yeah, we've seen when he's allowed to farm in that lane untouched, he can be absolutely devastating with enormous amounts of damage. But he will have his work cut out for him, as right now Ryze is being looked at by Pobelter. They might shift that over to Huni and put Pobelter on Ahri to try to deal with that. But
yep. It could be a counter pick, where they think they have the counter pick Cassiopeia, and you counter that because, surprise, Ryze is top.
Yeah. The old switcheroo. Well, 20 seconds left for Immortals to show us whether or not it will be. Sivir being looked at by WildTurtle. And it is locked in, so that's going to be Sivir, Soraka, and the Viktor locked in for Pobelter. So that is Huni taking Ryze solo in the top lane.
It's the counter. They didn't want to have a slightly unfavorable matchup for them, and now they get something that has a lot of wave clear that puts the pressure on Cassiopeia, who lost wave clear because Miasma changed, and it has a set distance now. So underneath the turret, you have to walk a little bit further back. You don't have that same point, the Miasma right there, and
clear minions.
Clear it out completely.
Yeah. It's much easier now with the Twin Fang, though.
To last hit, yes.
We'll see if Keane can juggle the waves being pushed in by Pobelter, as right now it's the counter. Fiora being looked at by Ray. the ultimate duelist, but decides to take something a little bit safer with that Irelia in the top lane.
If there's one word I would not use to describe Ray, it is safe. This guy likes to go in, and that is what all of the Apex fans actually hope for, because when he's on point and he's aggressive, then Apex finds success. If he's able to bully the top lane and he's able to bully Huni, who's not been performing the same way or getting the same amount of resources as last split, then it could be the standard formula for Apex, but a winning formula.
We'll see if they can pull it off this time. If they try to run for the 4-man unit +1 split on that Irelia. Of course, big people to watch out for is that featured matchup between Shrimp and Reignover. Two potentially high-impact ganking champions. Could mean some explosive laning phases. And that's not just because of the explosive cask.
Man, you're predicting an explosive cast. I got you. I got you. We could do this.
We'll get an explosive cast and the explosive cask. Coaches shake hands. We're about to get underway. Make sure to join the fan vote on Twitter. Use hashtag IMTWin or hashtag APXWin to let us know who you think is going to take this. Will it be second place Immortals or fifth place Apex? Looking to bring us into this next set.
And Immortals, they want to stay at the top of the table. TSM, well, they're trailing right behind them. And if they fall further and further behind, if at all, then, well, honestly, their legacy and what they weren't able to accomplish last split with making it to the finals becomes a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
And Apex, on the other hand, they still need to get to those playoff spots. CLG just won their matches and is 4-5. Immortals versus Apex. Apex, uphill battle here. Right? Odds are against them at the moment, and they could end 5-4 and put a little bit of distance between themselves and CLG.
And show that they would be able to play with the top teams by taking a win off of Immortals. A lot of that, we'll see if Xpecial can pull it off. We actually asked Xpecial what he thinks of his opponent's support on Immortals Adrian.
He's all right. I mean, last split, his champion pool was decent, but he didn't play Alistar. It was the most broken champion in the game. And this split, Alistar is not as strong, so his champion pool is fine. So, I mean, he's just a player that can only play a few champions, it seems like. He mentioned that he has the biggest champion pool in LCS. Haven't seen that one. So, I think he's all talk.
And back on the Soraka, too.
Yeah.
And I loved it because Adrian didn't have to play Alistar. That was the thing. Like, the guy played Leona before. He played Alistar before. I knew that behind the scenes he was a big Windspeaker's Blessing Alistar player with heal max first for like a super safe laning phase. And then he was able to bust out the Soraka when she became meta. So he does play it. He just doesn't play it the same way. And he hovered it this game. So special. Oh, he is right about the champion pool, but the question is it because Adrian doesn't have to show it, or is it because he just doesn't play those things?
We certainly shall see if Adrian decides to change things up this game. So far, Immortals are just running down the tier list, as we mentioned. And unfortunately, we don't get to see Xpecial and Adrian trade blows this game. At least not yet, as it is a lane swap initiated by Apex, looking to take that top turret. Reignover is going to be able to clear out his blue buff, so he's not going to gift that over to Pobelter. And Teleport sends Huni to safety to catch up on the other side of the map. So keeping an eye on those junglers. They're both starting on the top side of the map. Reignover slightly more dangerous, but he's able to get away with it for now.
Yeah, but that means he ends up stealing a camp away, because that should be Shrimp's camp. Xpecial and Apollo, they started on this side. They didn't do the same type of invade, and now Shrimp has a bear jungle on this side. And he has to go to the strong side if he wants any camps. He either helps with this push, ganks mid, or he goes to the strong side because he's got nothing for a little bit longer here.
Yeah, going to settle for the Scuttle Crab as Immortals try to get that solo gold onto Huni. Shrimp picks it up and joins up with the rest of his team. But Reignover, as you said, heading over towards that blue buff, pings on my way.
Yep, one of the best things about Rek'Sai is you will know if there's somebody hanging out in that jungle, and it's your strong side as well. You see Pobelter immediately starts playing to that side. He's going to get gifted a blue buff very early on. And Immortals already in control of this game. They got that bottom turret. Huni now gets a lot of alone time in that bottom lane with the wave. Top lane finally goes down, but you're going to see Huni with a level advantage as well as a CS advantage for a bit of this game, because the lane swap is definitely going in Immortals' favor in just terms of pace and camps taken.
We mentioned that Shrimp was one of the best at stealing away those neutral buffs from the enemy jungle. Well, not successful this game, as Reignover seems to have his number. Stealing that away, continuing to get some deep vision on that side of the map as well, so might look to return there at some point in time, try to pick up a dragon or something.
Ooh.
And Apollo actually is able to sneak by that ward.
Yeah, stealthy, but I think that Huni, as soon as he sees it, he's still going to back off anyway, and they don't have the support there. The support's the big one, because the support is usually the CC, and he has to walk over Scuttle Crab, so Xpecial is going to get spotted out as well. And now Huni will back off, but not before getting 19 CS.
Yeah, you could see the difference. Ray on the other side, without that vision, only down to 8.
But like, look at the 80 carries. He basically has the 80 carries CS at this moment, and that's honestly brutal if you're Ray, because you're already put far behind by about 200 gold. Huni was able to stay in that top lane at the very beginning, pick up some CS, pick up some experience, and now Apex, they're going to have to make some plays to get back into this.
Ooh, Apex trying to collapse onto Pobelter, but Pobelter turns it back around. Shrimp going to be stunned as the bubble misses and eats a lot of damage from Immortals.
Yeah, it looked like got him just with the edge there, and then the gravity field is a unique type of stun because it freezes you. It stops your character movement and model. So looks like it stopped him there in the body slam. Most stuns during a body slam will hit you and you'll continue the animation until you reach your destination. But with things like the Viktor, with Vent Horizon, things like that,
Pulls you back in.
yeah,
There is no
freezes you.
escape.
I forget the actual technical term for it.
Interrupt?
No. There's an actual technical term for it when you freeze in our game, like that.
Oh. Well, lane swap does continue. Immortals faster are able to clear out that top tier 1 and already send their duo to the bottom side, which means Ray is not going to get anywhere near as much time as Huni is on the opposite side of the map. Ray, is able to clear that minion wave out in time, but already you can see Adrian. Doesn't stop that recall. But that's a long time for Huni to get that solo experience in the top lane. And in fact, Apex are sending their duo to the top side of the map. So Ray is just going to be forced to sit back and eventually catch this wave, as it will eventually crash into the tier 2.
Now, the other option is Ray goes in the lane up against Huni, and that's not a good option for him right now either, because of how behind he is. I know it's a tier and just a mana crystal for Huni, but it still converts into damage for him as Ryze. So it's a little bit scary for the Irelia.
Now Ray trying to sit back and catch what experience he can as the wave is building up. Shrimp is in fact on the other side of the map. Actually, he's currently invading into Huni and Reignover's side of the jungle. Gets a couple of deep wards down. They might look to trade these tier 2s. As Reignover clears out his camp, already level 6, 16 CS ahead of Shrimp over the course of this jungle.
And they're both the CS differential at 10 kings of the jungle, and it's because they have those types of moves where Reignover starts on the strong side, or his weak side of the map. Huni helps him out with a leash, then runs top, and Apex didn't even walk into the jungle to really stop him.
Yeah, not sure if this is working out quite so well, as Immortals definitely getting the better of this lane swap. You can see a clean 1,000 gold ahead. They're going to be able to take this bottom lane tier 2, and they've got a fresh minion wave catching up with it. Ray is still trying to defend. Apollo left all alone, isn't going to be able to answer with a tier 2 of his own. Immortals could try to break down this inhibitor turret. Here comes the rest of Apex, but it's already down to half.
Ashe arrows flying across the map. This is a gigantic minion wave. They're going to have a lot of power here to take this turret down. And
Oh, the bubble catches Huni from across the map. He goes down. Shrimp gets first blood.
From downtown, Apollo with the arrow and Xpecial with the bubble to prevent any escape there from Huni. Cross map play, and that may just get Immortals, may get Apex this top lane turret, tier 2, and not lose their inhibitor turret. Contesting the blue buff, but Ray wants a piece of this.
Oh, flash miasma. Keane goes in, but he doesn't have any help. He drops. Adrian gets the kill with a banana. Huni on respawn will group up with the rest of his team, and Apex bit off a little bit more than they could chew. Huni, he's going to be able to lock Ray out of this. Can't retreat towards his team. Let's see who they're going to try to gift the kill over to. Reignover is going to secure it.
Yeah, it was really aggressive there from Apex. Like, honestly, you just needed to wait for Apollo to get that top turret and catch these minion waves, because this minion wave is a minion wave that Ray needs. He's got 19 CS, and now they get to just push that all the way into the inhibitor turret again, have it bounce back towards Immortals side. And that's a lot of gold missed out because they took that opportunity, and it ended up backfiring.
So Immortals able to answer back. 2 kills to 1 and the first Cloud Drake. Here's that fight once again. Keane way too far forward.
Yeah, gets exhausted as well. They use a whole lot on him, but he gets blown up, and he tried to make a good play. He tried to make it so that Immortals regret their decision to try and contest that blue buff, but they just don't have the items just yet, especially against the Soraka, because her health bar, when she transfers it over to somebody else, is pretty much I want to say 1.5x. So she really is a big battery for her team. So you need to be able to kill the team like 5.5 health bars, and you don't have the damage to do that at that point. You have to have really good AoE. Keane could have had it happen with his Petrifying Gaze, but it just didn't work out.
Immortals now group is 5 in the mid lane with Keane recalling. Whoa, Reignover gets pulled in. Body slam is denied, and Shrimp gets picked off by Immortals.
Shrimp still had flash as well, but able to get completely locked up there by Huni, Pobelter. He was the one who was trying to actually create a play or scatter the minion wave. I feel like these plays need to start more off of arrows from Apollo just for the time being until Shrimp gets a little bit tankier, because when you're sitting on just Runic Echoes as Gragas, you have no HP items. You're sitting around and no resistances. It's purely the offensive part of Gragas so that he can stay toe-to-toe with a lot of early game junglers. So he's basically paper. It's kind of deceptive.
Shrimp, ooh, not going to head towards that camp. Gets denied his own Direwolf and his own Braum, as both he and the enemy trade out that jungle camp. Reignover, you can see now even in CS. Oh, arrow down the mid lane. Misses Pobelter, though.
That IQ.
Apex try to regroup as 5. Xpecial eats a lot of damage. Miasma prevents the chase from Pobelter, though. So Xpecial is able to walk away nice and safe.
Yeah, throwing out the ultimate there, the Chaos Storm onto Xpecial just to kind of chunk him out. It is a Nami, so she's going to be able to heal up. Pobelter, he's running a little bit low on mana himself. His blue buff is up in almost a minute.
Yeah, he's also 5 levels ahead of Xpecial, so maybe hoping for the optimistic Thunderlord's burst as Reignover. Whoa.
Almost, but Reignover's tanky.
Yeah, bubble misses. Reignover, as you said, already getting tanky as Huni continuing to stack up, build towards that late game Ryze.
This always happens with Ray. Ray is always behind, and then you stop paying attention to what he's doing for a couple seconds, and it's like, wait, how's he back up here?
He caught up.
Hey, he caught up.
And Shrimp did the exact same thing.
Yeah. Like, they've just been farming these side waves, but it wasn't even like the wave momentum was like pushing towards them very heavily. You could see this wave on the opposite side of the map that Huni pushed in is going to crash against this bottom wave, and they're equal. They're equivalent at this point.
Yeah. Still seeing about a 2,000 gold lead for Immortals, but not quite able to convert it in stats just yet as they collect the blue buff. In fact, Apollo is going to be the person who last hits it. And Immortals still currently looking ahead in this, getting the better of the lane swap and getting that first Cloud Drake. We'll see if they can continue to propel this advantage. Taking a look at that featured matchup between the junglers, it is level 9 to level 8, pretty even in CS, pretty even in gold.
Yeah, it's just those levels. It's that disparity where Reignover is just farming a little bit better. And Rek'Sai, just as a pick, of course, higher up the tier list than Gragas for pretty much this reason. You are much safer, you're tankier, you can roam around the jungle no problem. And they're both playing it well at the moment, but it's just going to be focused on who gets those engages, because they're going to be primary engagers for their team. Also, Pobelter finished Hex Core upgrade all the way, so his Chaos Storm a little bit faster here. Good to see that. I actually think that's the correct way to go. Get that movement speed on it. And the other thing I wanted to touch on here was Ray. He got back in the game, but that was because Huni grouped up mid. Right, when they sieged that turret and he got that kill onto Shrimp, Huni used a lot of his time to do that, and he lost the bottom wave, which went to Ray, and then Ray immediately swapped to the top side and got that wave. So they're giving Ray all of these resources on the side lanes, but he doesn't get a Rift Herald.
Yeah, so Apex continuing to try playing to what has worked for them in the past. Let Ray shove those side lanes and get towards that late game carry that he know that he can be. Ward cleared out. And as you just saw, Rift Herald was picked up. Apex go for a quick invade, but Reignover is the one they find. Not exactly the best member of Immortals to try bursting down.
He always does this too, where he gets incredibly tanky. And it was funny because I watched a game where he went Gragas, and he bought Rod of Age's first item, and then he went Cinderhulk. And I asked him about it later on. He's like, it's just the tankiness, right? You feel useless later on if you have Runic Echoes. So I just build this first, and then I'm more useful to my team as a tank. And that allows Huni to play something squishy. It allows the rest of the team, like Adrian, to also play those range support, because Reignover is your tank. He is going to be your soaker.
Yeah, Immortals catch Apex while they're recalling and are finally able to drop down that mid-tier 1. Apollo, though, did not recall.
Looking for the snipe.
Yeah, he's spotted out by the Tremor Sense, though. Don't know if that ward did see him, but he was looking for the enchanted crystal arrow. Mountain Drake has spawned, and this would be huge to both teams. Cassiopeia already so good at bringing down the Baron. With a Mountain Drake, it would just augment that ability.
Yeah, don't even have to have it poisoned anymore. It will do more damage if you do, but the cooldown is always low. And the Mountain Drake, there's a Scuttle Crab in favor of Apex and the gold advantage in favor of Immortals. Oh. One of them is a little bit better in combat. Spoiler alerts. Immortals. The combat stats, especially since it's like a completed item for WildTurtle.
You can't just spoiler alert and then say what you're saying.
That's how spoiler alert works. I tell them right before.
Didn't have any time to plug my ears.
Gotta find a better way to keep yourself spoiler free when you hear it then. It's not my fault.
Yeah, Shrimp spots out Immortals, trying to sneak that Mountain Drake. But they don't fall for it. Miasma finds some good damage onto Reignover, but he heals right back up. I say good damage, it was not good damage.
Depends on definition of good.
Yeah.
It would have been good damage if it had been on Adrian, so technically the damage itself is good.
Yes.
The person it was on was dead.
I mean, it's a question of perspective as well. Do bad guys consider themselves bad?
No, they actually don't. That's I'll talk about that in a second. No.
Oh, good spell shield. But Ray decides to go in anyways. On the hunt means that Apex have got to turn around.
Yeah.
They've got no tier 1, and Huni's still splitting in the top lane.
So they just traded the ultimate from Apollo for the flash of Pobelter, because Ray went in and he didn't even have to blow his flash to get out. So Ray came in from the side, flanked him, and he's looking for more of those types of plays without losing too much on the side.
Yeah, Immortals, though, are going to try burning through this Mountain Drake. There goes the gravity field. Xpecial in the front misses the bubble, down to 2,000 health.
Shrimp, Eel's
That is a late teleport. Mountain Drake secured. They try to pop onto Pobelter. Xpecial eats a lot of damage. Keane snared on the side, forced to flash the wall. Adrian in the back, trying to heal himself up, but finally goes down. Reignover running as fast as he can. Pobelter did fall to Apex's onslaught. Slow is going to miss as Immortals split.
And they lose 2. They get the Mountain Drake, but the engage from Keane and Shrimp, knowing that Pobelter has blown his flash because of the Ray dive earlier, is what set that up. The body slam flash, pretty much undodgeable at that point, throws him back into the team. You think that Shrimp is going to go for that dragon and try to smite steal it, so Pobelter puts himself in a different position, but he ends up exposing himself to the team, tries to get a counterattack. We're going to see that again right here. Shrimp hanging off on the side, body slam flash, Cask back, got it off before Adrian got the silence. If Adrian had gotten the silence, it would have been absolutely perfect, and it stunted that. But then Keane comes in with all of his damage. Apollo has the slow. And then they get a whole lot of summoner spells. All of the flashes except for WildTurtles. And he didn't have on the hunt either at that point. He'd used it previously in the mid lane.
Yep. That's 2 kills for Immortals and the Mountain Drake. Well, 2 kills for Apex, excuse me. And the Mountain Drake for Immortals. Still a slowly growing gold lead. Now it's nearly up to 3,000. Reignover clears out the ward.
It's down a little bit here.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He's going to have to time it. Oh, Cass catches him before he can drop the tunnel. There's the silence field, and Immortals escort Reignover to safety.
Yeah, he was trying to time it because if you hit him while he's tunneling, it'll stop it, and that feels bad. Feels bad.
Whoa, that definitely feels bad. Apollo did use his arrow.
Yeah, he's dead, but it says he has 2 HP in the bottom left.
Yeah.
He lives on in our hearts. But yeah, Apollo used arrow, didn't have flash or anything like that. I mean, low mobility for himself, and Huni able to run him down.
Oh, this turret already took a lot of damage earlier, and Immortals, with that AD carry gone, finish the job and clear out that inhibitor turret.
They do a decent amount of damage to that inhibitor too. It'll heal itself up, but it's only about 7/8. We'll see. Ah, it was in the bush.
Ah.
The unseen Huni.
Yeah, is the deadliest.
Yeah, this is why Ryze is really strong. I was really surprised that last set it was falling through picks and bans as well as the Vladimir.
Surprise!
In the previous set, the Energy CLG one. And yeah, surprise.
Yeah. Not surprise.
Sup, Ryze?
We're not freak. But right now, Immortals have got control of the game, now up to a 3,500 gold lead. Again, it is slowly growing. And Apex, despite trying to make some proactive plays and fighting for these dragons, find themselves losing tiny objective after tiny objective, and Immortals are growing their advantage.
And sometimes it's they make a big macro play in the beginning of the game that ends up backfiring. Apollo's trying to take that tier 2, and Immortals just push straight through because they have the superior minion wave management, and they get the inhibitor turret to a point where you come back and you kill it. So they lose some big objectives as well. Right now, it's not like they're bleeding a whole bunch. It's just the fact that you have an exposed inhibitor at 20 minutes, it's an awful sign for the potential that Immortals have for this map.
Oh, yeah. Apex, though, they do have that safety in Keane. We've seen them in this sort of late game. We can't really fight mid, we can't really fight early, but we've got Keane on the late insurance of Cassiopeia. So we'll see if they will be able to bring us to a nice late game and defend against Immortals, but you will have to deal with Sivir charging Immortals into them.
Yeah, and the big thing you have to worry about is the Viktor and the Ryze. Like WildTurtle, Sivir is not a huge threat until a little bit later than this, and then she becomes this gigantic Ricochet crit bot. It's around that IE where she really shines, and she also neglects the lifesteal item. He went Warlord's Bloodlust, so he can survive laning phase and doesn't have to buy one. But Ray's going to be trying to blow up WildTurtle. That's probably going to be his goal here, as it looks like Yomu's is in store for him, and Shrimp rightfully building magic resistance. And this is the conundrum when you face a team like this on Immortals, where as the diving top laner, do you kill one of the big threat magic damage dealers, or do you just kill their only AD threat and then build MR? Because if you do that, then you can kind of shut them down, depending on how far ahead they are. But if you can just straight up just kill Pobelter, then do you take that opportunity instead? So it's always these split-second decisions and choices based on who's near you and what you can accomplish. And it's gonna be hard to kill Pobelter though, because double exhaust for Immortals.
Yeah, you make that decision-making sound so easy.
I just make the decisions present, but making the decision is very hard. There's a lot of elements that go into it, right? Like, does Pobelter have exhaust? Is Adrian kind of nearby? Because the double exhaust will shut you down.
Yeah.
They're going to save one for Keane as well.
Yeah, that Cassiopeia stacking up. 2 items in with the tier building rather quickly. Apex, middle of the pack team. So far, they've been defending, keeping afloat, but Immortals really just playing the patient game, not making too many mistakes outside of that fight at the Mountain Drake where they were caught unexpected by Shrimp engaging on Pobelter. But now the next Drake has spawned. That would be another Cloud Drake. Huni's already got the pit.
Yep. Hawkshot goes through. They're already starting it. It's already halfway dead, and Keane is not there, so this would be a bit of a mistake to contest.
Yeah, Immortals pick it up, and with the speed boost chase forward, Xpecial tries to turn it into a fight. Arrow catches Reignover in the front. They're able to split Immortals up.
Here goes Ray from behind.
Taking a lot of damage, though. Can they try to get these kills? WildTurtle is getting some pretty big crits, and Immortals are able to turn it around. Flash from Huni catches Shrimp, and he goes down.
Immediate turnaround there. Keane, I'm going to have to take another look at that Petrifying Gaze. Ray gets right in on the action, and it looks like the Petrifying Gaze happens when everybody's turning around because the teleport has already started, and it scared them off.
They're doing the Baron. Immortals are doing the Baron. Yeah. 25 minutes into the game, Shrimp is dead. Xpecial racing towards the pit as fast as his fins can get him there. Drops a pink ward inside. Here come the rest of Apex.
They don't have ultimates
There's no
either.
arrow, there's no ultimate. Ray, he tries to steal it over the wall, but does not succeed. He goes down as the Baron is picked up by Immortals. Keane eats a laser. That's a Ryze on that Viktor. That's a lot of slows. Reignover chases, gets the knockup. Keane snared, will drop. Pobelter with the kill.
Oh, it's such a awkward situation as well. We'll talk about that in a second. Apex back up here. The wave goes across a lot of people, and it's just like, oh, Xpecial's going off. These look great. Reignover hit by an arrow. And then here comes Keane with the Petrifying Gaze. There. Only hits Reignover. Hits the tanky member. They're already in retreat, and then Reignover ease out, so they can't even focus damage on it, and then they pick up Shrimp. So overall, couple of ultimates there wasted because they didn't have the damage at that moment, and then it was at the turning point. And that's what made Immortals go back in, is because the Petrifying Gaze was used, and it was essentially wasted. And now Immortals have the Baron, and Shrimp dead, but Ray tried to contest it. I think you just flat out go for that fight. You saw how low Adrian got from having to heal people. Pobelter got incredibly low as well. You could have killed 2 people off and had a 3v4 if you played it correctly, and Apex decided to dive. It's a hero play.
And Keane caught by the snare. Arrow comes across, but WildTurtle crits and picks up the kill. Huni drops the exhaust onto Ray, who will fall as well, not able to dive the back line. However, Adrian was successfully killed. WildTurtle with a double kill, and Immortals are just cleaning this game up so quickly from 0 to Nexus in 6 minutes. Xpecial falls, and that's an ace on to Apex. Immortals have got Baron buff and a minion wave. They're going to try to end right here, right now.
Yeah, they're going to be able to end this, Dom. 15 seconds on Keane. Immortals are going to stay atop the standings for right now. Of course, just one game, but they come out of the gate swinging.
Yeah. Taking their time at the beginning of the game, just waiting for the small investments to pay off, and then their payday came. 25 minutes into the game, winning that team fight, taking those Drakes, and cleaning up the match. Immortals have got to feel good about that one.
Oh yeah, taking down Apex in 27 minutes. Immortals take game 1, and it was really clean halfway through the game onward.
Yeah.
There were a few mistakes early on. Apex had a lot of opportunities that they didn't take, and the arrow was hilarious at the start, but it was still a play that shouldn't have been happening on